Welcome, dear listener. Tonight, we open the door to one of the most enchanting stories ever told. A tale woven from both poverty and dreams, where the smallest acts of kindness grow into the grandest rewards. Settle in and let your imagination taste the sweetness of wonder. If you find this summary helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Novel Whisper Official, and comment below the title of the novel you'd like us to summarize next. We'll make it happen soon. Now let us step into the world of Charlie Bucket in a small, crooked, wooden house standing on the edge of town. Charlie lives with his parents and 4 grandparents. The walls are thin, the wind seeps through every crack, and hunger is a constant companion. Meals are little more than watery cabbage soup, and bread is considered a luxury. Charlie, thin as a twig and wrapped in patched clothes, accepts it all without complaint. His eyes, however, shine with a quiet hunger. Not just for food, but for hope, for the thrill of something larger than the grey horizon of his days. Each morning, Charlie walks past the towering gates of Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. The factory looms like a palace of secrets, with chimneys that breathe clouds of sweetness and mysteries hidden behind iron gates. No workers are ever seen entering or leaving, yet the air carries hints of melted chocolate, roasted nuts, and caramel so rich it seems to warm the soul. For Charlie, this factory is both a torment and a dream. His greatest wish is simply to taste chocolate, real chocolate, not just the faint scraps he gets once a year on his birthday. A tiny bar savored for weeks, eaten square by square until it disappears too quickly. Inside his home, his family does their best to shelter him from despair. Grandpa Joe, bent and frail, carries a spark in his eye that refuses to dim. He tells Charlie tales of Willy Wonka, the genius inventor who once sent rivers of chocolate flowing, who created candies that could last forever, and who baffled the world when he shut down his factory, only to reopen it without a single worker in sight. Grandpa Joe whispers of spies, secrets, and the strange little people rumored to help Wonka, feeding Charlie's imagination with wonder. But hunger gnaws deeper with each passing day. Charlie's face grows paler, his body thinner. He gives away food portions to his grandparents, even as his ribs press against his shirt. Yet his heart remains unspoiled, his kindness untarnished by the poverty pressing down on him. And still, every evening, when the sun paints the town gold for a fleeting moment, Charlie lifts his eyes to the factory's silhouette and dreams. That dream is fragile, like frost on a window, yet it burns brighter than any hunger. He imagines stepping inside, tasting rivers of chocolate, hearing the fizz of magical candies, walking through worlds that exist only in imagination. It is the dream of a child who owns nothing, yet carries in his heart a treasure greater than gold. Hope. The factory looms, silent and secretive, while the boy waits, unaware that destiny is preparing to turn its gaze upon him. Winter settles hard on the little town, pressing frost against windows and stiffening the ground beneath thin shoes. Charlie walks slower, his legs weak, his body craving warmth, but his spirit still carried by one constant dream: Willy Wonka's chocolate. Then one icy morning, The newspapers explode with headlines that race through every shop, cafe, and street corner. Willy Wonka is opening his factory. For the first time in years, the gates will swing open, but not for everyone. Hidden inside 5 chocolate bars across the world are golden tickets, and whoever finds one will be invited inside for a grand tour. More than that, each winner will be given a lifetime supply of chocolate. The news strikes like a bolt of lightning. Crowds flood sweet shops, pockets heavy with coins, hands trembling as they tear open wrappers. Children shriek with excitement, adults elbow through lines, and newspapers spin rumors about who might be the first lucky finder. Posters gleam with images of golden tickets, shining like sunlight, and every child in town feels their heartbeat quicken. For Charlie, the announcement feels like both a miracle and a curse. The thought of stepping inside that factory, of breathing the chocolate-scented air, is almost too much to bear. But the reality bites. His family has barely enough money to keep bread on the table. Chocolate bars are treasures, not daily treats. His chance of finding a golden ticket seems as thin as the soles of his shoes. Still, a spark ignites. He clings to the possibility, however faint, as if hope itself could feed him. Grandpa Joe is the first to fan the flames of Charlie's imagination. With his wrinkled hands clutching the newspaper, he leans close and whispers, "Charlie, wouldn't it be marvelous, you inside that factory, meeting Mr. Wonka himself?" His voice trails off, filled with longing of his own. The grandparents argue gently about the madness of it all. But Charlie listens, heart pounding with secret dreams. The frenzy spreads like wildfire. Around the world, shopkeepers run out of stock, and children parade with candy bars clutched in their hands. On street corners, strangers trade theories, and newspapers print stories of fortune and failure. In Charlie's classroom, classmates brag of how many bars they've bought, each new wrapper ripped open with greedy fingers. Charlie says nothing, but his silence is heavy with yearning. Then one evening, he receives his annual gift, a small, precious bar of chocolate. His parents and grandparents gather around, watching with tender smiles as Charlie holds it like gold. He unwraps it carefully, savoring the moment, hoping, praying for a glimmer of shining paper. But the wrapper falls away to reveal only chocolate. Rich, smooth, sweet chocolate. No golden ticket inside. For a moment, disappointment pierces him. Sharp as hunger. Then he lifts the bar to his lips, breaks off a piece, and lets the flavor melt slowly on his tongue. He saves most of it, promising himself a taste each day. A reminder of sweetness in a bitter world. The golden tickets remain elusive, their glittering promise stirring the globe into chaos. Yet in that tiny wooden house, Charlie dares to keep hoping. Even as hunger tightens its grip, even as reality tells him it is impossible, a quiet voice within insists. Miracles sometimes find the ones who least expect them. And far beyond the frosted town, inside the walls of the chocolate factory, Willy Wonka waits, smiling his secret smile, knowing exactly what lies ahead. The first golden ticket is found, and the news spreads like fire through dry grass. Augustus Gloop, a plump boy from Germany, beams from the newspaper photograph, his hands already busy with food. He is celebrated in his hometown, crowds cheering as if he had won a grand prize for all. The world watches in both envy and awe, and children everywhere redouble their frantic search. Soon after, the second winner emerges. Veruca Salt, a spoiled girl from a wealthy English family, is paraded on television by her doting parents. Her father, a peanut factory owner, had his workers spend days tearing open chocolate wrappers, until one revealed the golden slip. Veruca's smug smile and shrill demands fill every broadcast. Her triumph less about luck than her parents' blind indulgence. The third ticket belongs to Violet Beauregard, an American girl with a piercing voice and a stick of gum perpetually wedged in her mouth. She boasts proudly that she is the world's record holder for chewing the same piece of gum for months. Cameras adore her boldness, though her arrogance stings through every word. The fourth winner is Mike TV, a boy obsessed with television who grins before flashing screens while ignoring the world beyond them. His small, cold smirk carries none of the joy one might expect. His obsession with guns, cowboys, and screens earns him as much disdain as admiration. Each new announcement is a dagger to Charlie's heart. With every smiling face on the front page, his chances shrink further until they seem all but gone. The world buzzes with envy and fascination, but inside Charlie's small house, the air grows heavy. His grandparents sigh, resigned to reality, and his parents quietly hope their son will not suffer the cruelty of disappointment. Still, Charlie listens with wide eyes to Grandpa Joe, who insists that fate sometimes favors the humble. He speaks of Wonka's genius, his impossible inventions, and the way the man vanished from the public eye, only to re-emerge with mysteries no one can explain. The old man's words weave a kind of magic, keeping Charlie's fragile hope alive. Then, a cruel winter settles in. The snow piles high, biting winds gnaw through thin coats, and hunger becomes unbearable. Charlie grows so weak he can barely walk home from school. Passing the chocolate factory gates, he slows, inhaling deeply the scents that seem to pour from the very bricks. Warm cocoa, sugar, and roasted nuts blending into a perfume of dreams. His stomach aches, but his heart aches more. He watches other children tear open bars, one after another, their parents thrusting sweets into their eager hands, wrappers piling high like fallen leaves. He has only the memory of his single bar, and the hunger of longing that refuses to fade. One golden ticket remains, one chance, and Charlie Bucket, with empty pockets and worn shoes, wonders if destiny ever notices children like him. The days drag on, the frost tightening its grip, and Charlie's world grows dim. At school, classmates chatter endlessly about golden tickets and television interviews, while Charlie listens in silence, his hunger making every sound feel distant. At home, the meals become thinner, each bowl of cabbage soup more watery than the last. His face grows pale, his frame delicate, yet his kindness remains. He still gives up portions to his grandparents, who protest softly, but accept with tears in their eyes. One bitter evening, as Charlie trudges home, his head lowered against the biting wind, he sees a crumpled bill, half buried in the snow. His heart lurches. He bends down, fingers trembling as he lifts it. Money, real money, as if the frost itself had gifted him hope. He stares at it, his breath fogging the air, then rushes to the nearest small shop. Inside, warmth and sweetness wash over him. The shelves glitter with candies and bars, the air rich with chocolate. For once, he does not hesitate. He buys a bar and devours it quickly, the taste overwhelming, his hunger finally met with joy. But the money is not yet gone. With what remains, he buys one more bar, his heart pounding, his mind whispering the impossible dream. What if? His fingers tear the wrapper, careful but quick, and then there it is, a flash of gold. The world stops, his breath catches, his vision blurs, and for a moment, he cannot believe it. A golden ticket gleams in his hand, shining brighter than the winter sun, brighter than all his dreams. The shopkeeper gasps, and a small crowd gathers, voices buzzing with astonishment. Charlie stumbles home, clutching the bar and its treasure, his heart racing faster than his feet. When he bursts into the small wooden house, his family stares, wide-eyed, their disbelief giving way to joy. Grandpa Joe, frail and bedbound for 20 years, suddenly springs up, tears streaming as he dances in his nightshirt, laughing and shouting, his old bones forgotten. He embraces Charlie, the golden ticket shining between them like a beacon of salvation. The words on the ticket promise more than chocolate. They promise entry into the great factory itself, to see the wonders hidden behind those iron gates. They promise adventure, a chance at magic, a glimpse of dreams made real. And though Charlie trembles with disbelief, the truth is undeniable. He is chosen. One boy, one golden ticket, one chance that will change everything. Beyond the snow, beyond the town, Willy Wonka waits. And the gates of the factory stand ready to open. The day arrives like no other. The town thrums with excitement, crowds spilling into the streets as though a festival has begun. All eyes turn toward the towering iron gates of Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Gates that have stood closed for years, guarding mysteries the world has only dreamed of. Snow crunches beneath eager feet. Steam rises from hot breath in the cold air. And the factory itself seems to hum with anticipation. Charlie clutches Grandpa Joe's hand as they walk through the throng. His thin coat flaps in the wind. But inside, his heart glows with a warmth stronger than any winter chill. Grandpa Joe, his step surprisingly lively, holds his head high, proud as if he too has been reborn by the golden ticket. The other winners stand nearby, each accompanied by indulgent parents. Augustus Gloop, with his greedy eyes darting toward the gates. Veruca Salt, whining at her father to push closer. Violet Beauregard, chewing gum with loud cracks. And Mike Teavee, bored and restless, fiddling with his toy pistol. At last, a hush falls over the crowd. The gates groan and swing open, and out steps Willy Wonka himself. He's smaller than expected, dressed in a velvet coat of deep plum, a tall hat perched on his head, and a cane that seems as much for style as for support. His eyes sparkle with a mischief that borders on magic, and his voice, when he speaks, carries both warmth and enigma. "Welcome, my lucky children," he says, bowing low, "and welcome to the greatest place in the world." Gasps ripple through the crowd as the winners step forward. The gates close behind them, shutting out the roar of the town. For a heartbeat, the world grows silent. Then, Wonka spins on his heel, and the great adventure begins. Inside, the factory glows with colors and scents that defy imagination. Polished halls shimmer with light. Doors line the corridors like secrets waiting to be revealed, and the air itself is thick with sugar. Charlie breathes deeply, each step a dream made real. His hunger is momentarily forgotten, replaced by awe so powerful it fills his chest. Grandpa Joe squeezes his hand, whispering, "Remember this moment, Charlie. It's the beginning." Wonka moves quickly, his words tumbling like candy spilling from a jar. He rattles off riddles, jokes, and half-answers, keeping both children and parents on edge. He pauses only to glance at Charlie with a curious smile, as though he sees something in the boy the others cannot. Then they reach the first great door. Wonka flourishes his cane, pushes it wide, and light floods the corridor. The group steps through, and the sight before them steals every breath. A vast landscape stretches out, rolling meadows of green sugar, candy flowers swaying in invisible breezes, and at the center, a river of chocolate, thick and gleaming, flowing endlessly. Waterfalls of chocolate crash into pools, sending up sweet-scented spray, while glass pipes snake across the ceiling, sucking up streams of liquid sweetness. The air is alive with music, faint and playful, though no instrument is seen. Charlie's eyes widen, his mouth falling open. It is more than he ever dreamed, more than he dared imagine on cold nights when hunger gnawed at his belly. For a moment, he cannot move, cannot even speak. Tears prick his eyes, but they are tears of wonder. "Everything you see," Wonka announces, his arms wide, "is edible. The grass, the flowers, the river itself. Help yourselves, my dear children. Taste and see the world of imagination." Charlie kneels, plucking a blade of green sugar grass, and lets it melt on his tongue. The sweetness floods him, filling not just his stomach, but his spirit. For once in his life, he feels rich, yet even as joy fills the air, temptation looms. Augustus Gloop, eyes wide with greed, stumbles towards the chocolate river, hands outstretched. Wonka's smile flickers with a secret knowledge, and the first shadow of trouble falls across the day, falls across the day, falls across the day. The chocolate river glistens under the light, swirling with rich velvety currents. Its scent is irresistible, warm and thick, filling every corner of the room. Charlie watches in awe, his heart racing with joy. But his wonder is quickly pierced by the sound of greedy splashes. Augustus Gloop has thrown himself toward the riverbank. His pudgy hands scoop chocolate straight into his mouth, his face smeared, his eyes glazed with gluttony. His mother shrieks, begging him to stop, while Willy Wonka merely tilts his head, his eyes twinkling as though this too is part of the performance. "Augustus, my dear boy," Wonka says cheerfully. The river is not a swimming pool, but Augustus pays no heed. He leans further, his weight tipping dangerously, until, with a squeal, he loses his balance and plunges headfirst into the rushing current. The crowd gasps, his mother screams, Augustus flails wildly, gulping chocolate, sputtering and choking as the current drags him toward a massive glass pipe. Charlie clutches Grandpa Joe's arm, horror and fascination battling inside him. The river, so beautiful moments ago, becomes a wild force of chaos as Augustus is swept closer to the pipe's opening. With a thunderous gurgle, he's sucked inside, his round body clogging the tube for a moment before being whisked upward, higher and higher, his muffled cries echoing as he vanishes. The room falls silent, save for Mrs. Gloop's wails. She turns to Wonka, shrieking, demanding her son be rescued. Wonka, calm as ever, pats her arm lightly. No need to worry. He'll be sent to the fudge room. Quite safe, quite safe. The Oompa Loompas will take care of him. At the mention of Oompa Loompas, the air shifts. Tiny figures step forward. Little men with round faces, bright eyes, and skin the color of roasted coffee beans. Dressed in white overalls, they begin to sing, their voices high and playful, weaving verses that carry both rhythm and warning. They chant about greed and gluttony, about the dangers of taking too much, their song echoing through the vast chamber. The tune is comical, yet the words strike like lessons written in sugar and fire. As Mrs. Gloop is led away by Oompa Loompas to find her son, the group stares in stunned silence. The chocolate river continues its endless flow, as though nothing has happened, as though the factory itself swallows greed without pause. Charlie feels a strange mixture of fear and amazement. The magic of the factory is undeniable, but beneath the wonder lies something sharp, something dangerous. He looks up at Grandpa Joe, who nods gravely but squeezes his hand. Keep your head, Charlie. Watch and learn. Willy Wonka, unfazed, twirls his cane and beckons the group forward. Now then, onward. There's so much more to see, and time waits for no one. And so, with one child gone, the journey deepens, leading them further into the labyrinth of sweets and secrets, where temptation waits in every corner, ready to test the hearts of those who enter. The corridor winds deeper into the heart of the factory, each step echoing on polished tiles, each door they pass labeled with names that seem like riddles. Rainbow drops, hair toffee, hot ice cream for cold days. Charlie drinks in every word, his imagination soaring, while the other children shuffle with varying shades of impatience. At last, Wonka halts before a gleaming metal door. With a flourish of his cane, he flings it open, revealing the inventing room. Inside, the air hums with heat and electricity. Machines whir and puff, pipes rattle, and cauldrons bubble with mixtures in neon colors. The room is alive with creation, like a laboratory where science and magic fuse into candy. This, Wonka declares, eyes flashing, is where dreams are born. The children scatter through the room, their parents trailing nervously. Charlie presses close to Grandpa Joe, overwhelmed by the sheer wonder. He sees giant vats turning golden sugar to liquid, mechanical arms stirring mixtures with impossible precision, and shelves stacked with experiments not yet released to the world. Wonka skips among them, rattling off inventions, chewing gum that tastes like a full meal, sweets that never grow smaller, ice cream that never melts. His words tumble like jewels from a treasure chest, dazzling but impossible to hold. Violet Beauregard's eyes fix on one machine in particular. Inside a tray rests a strip of gum, ordinary in appearance but glowing faintly under the light. "What's that?" she demands. "A most marvelous invention," Wonka replies. "Chewing gum that delivers a 3-course dinner. Tomato soup, roast beef, blueberry pie. Revolutionary, don't you think?" His smile fades slightly as he adds, It's not ready. Still a few kinks to work out, but Violet is already reaching. She ignores Wonka's warning, snatches the gum, and pops it into her mouth. She chews with loud cracks, smirking as she announces the flavors. Tomato soup, delicious. Roast beef and baked potato, oh, this is fantastic. Her mother beams with pride, while the others watch uneasily. Then Violet gasps. Her face turns purple, swelling as though air is filling her like a balloon. Her fingers stiffen, her body stiffens, and soon her whole frame rounds into the shape of a giant blueberry. She wails, rolling helplessly across the floor as her mother shrieks. The Oompa Loompas appear again, singing their playful, mocking song about pride and disobedience. Their voices bounce off the walls, light as laughter, sharp as warning. Wonka claps his hands briskly. "Juicing room," he says. "Take her to the juicing room before she bursts. Quickly now." The Oompa Loompas roll Violet out, her indignant protest muffled by her swollen form. Her mother follows, sobbing. The room grows silent, the air heavy with unease. 2 children gone, their fates sealed by their own flaws. Charlie shivers, but deep inside, he feels something stronger. Resolve. He watches, listens, and learns. He tastes the magic with his eyes, but never reaches for more than what is offered. Wonka, unfazed, waves his cane and chirps. "Well, that's that. Plenty more wonders ahead. Shall we continue?" His grin is dazzling, but behind it lies a glimmer of challenge, as though he's measuring the courage and humility of those still standing. And so the group moves on, deeper into the labyrinth of temptations, toward more marvels and more trials. The factory grows stranger with every step. They pass through a hall of glowing candies that light up like lanterns, a chamber filled with sugar birds singing in crystalline tones, and endless doors hiding mysteries no one is allowed to enter. Charlie's eyes shine brighter with each wonder, while Grandpa Joe squeezes his hand, whispering, "This is what magic looks like, lad." At last, Wonka stops before another grand door. "Ah," he says with a mischievous glint, "the nut room." He swings it open, and inside stretches a vast hall filled with rows of squirrels, each perched neatly on stools, cracking nuts with delicate precision. Their small paws move with mechanical rhythm, sorting good nuts from bad with flawless judgment. The sight stuns the group, but Veruca Salt's reaction is immediate. "Daddy, I want a squirrel. I want one of those squirrels now." Her father stammers, trying to appease her, but Wonka shakes his head. "They're not for sale. They're trained for nut sorting only." Veruca's face hardens into a scowl. She stamps her foot, storms past the group, and rushes toward the squirrels. "I'll get one myself," she cries. Her hands stretch toward the nearest animal, but the squirrels bristle. In perfect unison, they leap upon her, surrounding her with swift, sharp movements. Charlie gasps as the creatures knock Veruca to the ground, testing her with quick, clever paws. Wonka, calm as ever, observes with interest. "Ah, they're checking to see if she's a bad nut." The squirrels reach their conclusion. With astonishing strength, they hoist Veruca into the air, carry her across the hall, and toss her down a garbage chute marked "Bad Nuts." Her screams echo as she disappears, her father lunging after her, only to vanish down the chute himself. The room falls silent, save for the rhythmic crack of squirrel paws. The Oompa Loompas emerge once again, their song playful, but edged with irony. They sing of spoiled children, of greed that rots the soul, their harmonies filling the hall like bells of warning. Their words weave lessons wrapped in laughter, each rhyme a mirror to the folly of those who cannot see beyond their own desires. Charlie shivers, his stomach tight with unease. Another child gone, another flaw exposed. He looks at Grandpa Joe, who murmurs softly, "Kindness, Charlie? That's what matters? Kindness?" Wonka claps his hands and ushers the group onward, his grin as wide as ever, though his eyes flick briefly to Charlie with something like approval. The tour continues, and soon they enter a dazzling chamber filled with towering screens and machines sparking with electricity. "The television chocolate room," Wonka announces. The walls glow, the hum of energy fills the air, and at the center of it all, a machine blazes with light. "This is where we make chocolate bars travel by television." Mike TV's eyes light up, his fascination instant and dangerous. "You can send things by television? Then why not people?" he blurts, his voice sharp with excitement. Wonka chuckles. "Oh, it's far too powerful for people. Not safe at all." But Mike is no more patient than the others before him. He ignores the warnings, charges towards the machine, and before anyone can stop him, he presses the buttons, shouting with glee. A blinding flash fills the room. When the light fades, Mike is gone, shrunk to a tiny figure, no bigger than a thumb, dancing across the television screen with wild delight. His mother screams, rushing forward, as Wonka shakes his head with amused resignation. Well, he wanted to be on TV. Now he is. The Oompa Loompas appear again, their voices lifting in another song, this one mocking obsession with screens and the shrinking of minds. Their melody bounces joyfully, but their words are sharp, carrying a warning for those who listen. 4 children gone, 1 remains. Charlie stands quietly beside Grandpa Joe, his heart beating fast. He has touched nothing, taken nothing. He has only watched with wide, wondering eyes. And now, with the factory echoing with the laughter of Oompa Loompas and the fading cries of another fallen child, the boy who had the least remains the last. The echo of the Oompa Loompas' song fades, leaving only the hum of machines and the soft drip of chocolate somewhere far below. The once proud group of winners has dwindled to 1 boy and his grandfather, their footsteps quiet on the polished floor as Willy Wonka leads them deeper into the labyrinth. Charlie's heart beats fast. He knows he has survived, not by cleverness, nor by strength, but by restraint, by wonder itself. He never once tried to grab, to claim, to demand. He simply looked, listened, and marveled. Now, with only Grandpa Joe beside him, he feels both fragile and strong. Wonka, unusually silent, glances back often. His eyes sparkle, but there is something else there too. A test not yet finished, a decision not yet made. He whirls suddenly, his cane tapping the floor. "Well, my dear boy," he says, voice sharp yet playful, "it seems you're the last one standing. Quite extraordinary, wouldn't you say?" Grandpa Joe beams with pride, squeezing Charlie's shoulder. "He's done nothing but admire, sir. Not a step out of place." Wonka hums, as if weighing invisible scales. Yes, yes, that much is true. He strides on, leading them through a final set of doors, into a chamber unlike any other. The room is small, bright, and filled with glass. At its center rests the great glass elevator, gleaming like crystal, cables stretching upward into shadows no one can see. Its surface reflects Charlie's wide eyes and Wonka's enigmatic grin. "Step inside," Wonka says. Charlie hesitates, then obeys. The elevator's walls shimmer as if made of diamond. Grandpa Joe joins, steady but trembling with excitement. Wonka steps in last, flicking switches with manic delight. With a sudden lurch, the elevator shoots upward, faster than Charlie can breathe. The ground drops away. His stomach flips, and the world below blurs into streaks of color. Then, with a shattering crash, the elevator bursts through the factory roof and soars into the open sky. Charlie gasps, clutching Grandpa Joe as the world spreads out beneath them. The town lies small and fragile below, the crooked wooden house barely visible among rooftops. Beyond it stretch fields, rivers, and mountains, all bathed in sunlight. For the first time in his life, Charlie looks down on his world not as a boy, trapped by poverty, but as someone lifted high, carried by magic. Beside him, Willy Wonka laughs with wild joy, his eyes shining brighter than ever. "Magnificent! Isn't it magnificent?" Charlie nods, speechless. The air rushes cool against his face, but his chest feels warm with wonder. His life, once bound by hunger and walls that creaked in the wind, has been lifted into a place of boundless possibility. Yet even in this moment, he does not know the full truth. Not yet. For Wonka has one final revelation to share. One final secret that will change not just Charlie's life, but the life of his entire family. The elevator hurtles back toward the factory, ready to deliver its greatest gift. The glass elevator plunges back into the heart of the factory, slowing with a hiss before coming to a smooth stop. Charlie's knees are still weak from the dizzying flight, but his eyes gleam brighter than ever. Grandpa Joe wipes at his face, half laughing, half crying, overwhelmed by the impossible journey. Willy Wonka studies Charlie closely. For the first time, the playful mask seems to slip, and in its place is something deeper, serious, almost solemn. He leans close, his cane tapping lightly against the glass floor. "My dear boy," Wonka says softly, "do you know why I opened my doors? Why I hid those tickets?" Charlie shakes his head. His small voice whispers, "To share the magic." Wonka smiles, but there's gravity in his gaze. "Yes, to share it, but also to find someone. You see, I'm not getting any younger. I need someone to carry it forward. Someone who won't waste it, or spoil it, or twist it with greed." The words sink in slowly, like drops of honey. Charlie's breath catches. Grandpa Joe's eyes widen. "You, Charlie Bucket," Wonka continues, "are the one. The factory is yours. Every room, every secret, every wonder. From this day forward, you are my heir." Silence falls. For a heartbeat, Charlie cannot move, cannot even think. The factory, his? the dream that filled his nights, the vision that carried him through hunger and cold, it was never just a fantasy. It is real, waiting in his hands. Grandpa Joe throws his arms around the boy, laughing through tears. Do you hear that, Charlie? Yours. All of it. Yours. Charlie shakes his head in disbelief. But my family, they have nothing. How can I leave them? Wonka's eyes soften. Bring them. Every one of them. The whole crooked house can fit inside these walls if you wish. They will want for nothing. You will want for nothing. The promise lands with the weight of destiny. Charlie pictures his mother's tired face, his father's worried eyes, his grandparents shivering under thin blankets. He sees their joy when he tells them, sees the house transformed from despair to laughter, from hunger to abundance. Tears sting his eyes, but he smiles, radiant with gratitude. The elevator jolts again, soaring upward until it bursts once more into the open sky. Below, the Bucket family's house tilts precariously, snow piled on its sagging roof. Wonka maneuvers the elevator with gleeful precision, lowering it until it hovers just above the shabby home. Inside, Charlie's parents and grandparents look up in astonishment as the glass walls gleam above them. Charlie waves wildly, shouting with joy. The elevator's doors swing open, and Wonka calls out, "Pack your things! The factory awaits!" The old house trembles under the lift of magic. Walls that once held sorrow now echo with laughter. The family, stunned and overjoyed, clutches one another as they step into the gleaming chamber, carried away from poverty forever. As the elevator rises again, carrying them towards the shining towers of the chocolate factory, Charlie realizes the truth. He has not just found a golden ticket. He has found a new life, a life born not from greed or pride, but from kindness, patience, and hope. The boy who once had nothing now has everything, and he will never let go of the wonder that brought him here, that brought him here, that brought him here, that